Welcome to our time together. Americans are becoming less and less trustful. According to Gallup polls, the belief that most people can be trusted has dropped from 46% in the 1970s down to 34% about 7 years ago. And it's not just people we don't trust anymore. Our belief that the institutions in our society are trustworthy has also fallen. Back in 1976, 72% of Americans thought you could trust mass media. Now it's only 28%. In the 1960s, 77% of people thought you could trust the government. That's now down to 22%. In 1979, 21% of people thought you could trust banks. Now it's only about half of that, 11%. Trust in public schools has gone down from 30% in the 70s to 11% today. And trust in our medical system has gone down from 44% in the 70s to 12% now. This lack of trust affects churches and organized religion as well. In 1975, 43% of Americans said you can trust the church. Now, only 20% do. That's less than half. It also means that more people trust the government than trust the church. And that's pretty sobering. So this leads to the question, what can we do as individuals and as a church to foster trust? Well, the simplest answer is we must prove ourselves to be trustworthy. Because if you claim to be trustworthy and you aren't, well, that's even worse than pretending to be trustworthy in the first place. So the real question is not, how can we get people to trust us? The real question is, how can we be more trustworthy in a way that people will recognize? I recently read an article that suggested 4 things that we could do, and these apply to us both as individuals and as a church. First, be reliable. Show people that they can count on you. They can count on you not just to be there, although that's very important, but to be consistent in the way that you are there. Being reliable means that when people turn to you, they know what to expect, even if what they expect isn't what they want. For you see, if you act and speak according to what you think people want, well, then you're not very reliable. Reliability is like a sharpshooter who hits the target every time. In fact, reliability is even like someone who doesn't hit the target every time, but always misses in the same way. 1 Peter chapter 3 tells us to always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. So we can be reliable by giving a consistent answer about what it is we believe, what it is we stand for as individuals and as a church. Second, to be trustworthy, be competent. Be good at what you do. If you're not good at something, own it. Don't try to fake your way through it. That would be like a car mechanic. You want someone who understands what's going on under the hood of your car to work on it, not someone who's trying to figure it out as they go. As a church, we are more trustworthy if we show that we know how to be a church, that we are competent in being church. And I don't just mean competent in being able to act as an institution, although that's important. People won't trust their money to the church if they don't know how you're going to use it. But competence in the church, even more importantly, is knowing how to treat one another and how to serve the community and the world. Third, to be trustworthy, be authentic. And in my opinion, this is the most important of all. Let people see who you really are. Don't put up a false front. Act out of the true core of your being. Do not try to match people's expectations. Because if you do, you're going to become a chameleon, changing with the circumstances, and no one will know who you really are. They want to see who you actually are, the authentic you. Even if they don't like the real you, they want you to be authentic. And fourth, to be trustworthy, be vulnerable and transparent. Allow even your flaws to be seen. Admit your mistakes and shortcomings. If you try to hide them, they'll eventually be discovered anyway. In other words, don't be like people's Facebook posts. Have you ever noticed that? Someone might have an absolutely miserable day, but they post a picture where they're smiling and happy to try to make you think that they had a great day, when in fact they didn't. Now instead, be an open book. That means being vulnerable. Vulnerable means people might treat you differently if they know who you actually are. But at least it's the real you that they'll be interacting with, not some false illusion. Be reliable, be competent, be authentic, and be vulnerable, both as an individual and together as a church. This is the best way that we can earn people's trust. Would you pray with me, please? Lord, help us to be trustworthy people. And help us to be trustworthy for the right reasons. Not just to try to win people over, but instead to allow who you have actually created us to be what people see. Help us to be people that others can rely on. Help us to be competent at the things we say we're good at. Help us to be authentic and let our real selves show. And give us the courage to be vulnerable and allow even our flaws and mistakes to be seen. Amen. Thanks for joining me. We'll talk again later.